The first sign that something was horribly wrong was the way my phone exploded with messages. The moment I told my parents I'd lost everything, my mother's text didn't say, "Are you okay?" It said, "We need to talk. Privately." My name is Alyssa Grant, 32, founder of a tech startup I built from nothing, late nights, burned friendships, skipped holidays. I thought selling it for $20 million would finally buy peace. Instead, it bought silence. The moment I told my parents the lie my lawyer instructed me to tell, the world around me shifted. My dad didn't even call to check on me. He sent one cold message: "Don't come home. We can't afford your recklessness." Recklessness? They'd never even asked how I made the business succeed. But what scared me wasn't what they said. It was what they didn't say. My lawyer, Simon, had warned me, "Do it tonight. Then watch who contacts you first." I didn't understand until my cousin Emma sent me a screenshot at 3 a.m. It showed a private family group chat one I wasn't supposed to be in. And at the top, my mother had written something that made my stomach drop. "This is our chance." My hands shook as I stared at the screenshot Emma secretly forwarded. My mother's message: "This is our chance." Chance for what? Beneath it, the rest of my family chimed in like vultures circling fresh prey. "Uncle Ray, if she's broke, she's useless. Pull the paperwork before she realizes. Dad, we move fast. Don't let her know about the trust. My sister, Brooke, told you she'd crash. She never deserved any of it. A trust? Paperwork?" The words hit me like cold water. I had built a $20 million company from scratch, and the people who raised me were planning what? To cut me out of something I never knew existed? My lawyer's warning echoed in my memory now. Your parents aren't celebrating your success. They're calculating it. Do exactly what I say, and you'll see their real faces. And he was right, because at 7:14 a.m., like clockwork, my mother called. Not with comfort, not with concern, but with a rehearsed voice that suddenly sounded like a stranger. "Alyssa, sweetheart, we need you to come by the house. Today. There are things we need to handle." She didn't know I'd seen the messages. She didn't know I knew about the trust. And she sure as hell didn't know I wasn't coming alone. Because Simon told me exactly what would happen next, and it terrified me. I drove toward my parents' house with a knot in my stomach, Simon's voice replaying in my head. "The moment they think you're broke, they'll show their intentions. Don't react. Observe. Observe." Easy to say. Hard to do when betrayal is buzzing through your veins like poison. My childhood home looked smaller than I remembered, or maybe I had simply outgrown the version of myself who once begged for their approval. When I stepped inside, the atmosphere was stiff, like they had rehearsed every breath. My mother didn't hug me, didn't touch me, didn't even offer a seat. She simply closed the door and whispered, "We don't have long. Your father is getting the documents." My father appeared with a thick envelope, my name printed on the front. He didn't meet my eyes. He didn't smile. "Sign these," he said. "It's better for everyone if you do. Better for everyone, except me." Brooke sat on the couch, arms crossed, smirking like she had been waiting years for this moment. "Mom said you messed up big time. You always do." The envelope felt heavy in my hands. Too heavy. Something inside was wrong. Very wrong. As I opened it, a sentence jumped out at me, and my vision blurred with shock. Revocation of beneficiary rights. My own family was cutting me out completely. My breath left my body in one sharp, cold exhale. Revocation of beneficiary rights. They didn't even try to sugarcoat it. My father finally looked at me, but his eyes were dead calm, like this wasn't betrayal, just business. "Alyssa, you're unstable right now. You've made reckless choices. The trust needs protection." Protection? From me? My mother stepped closer, lowering her voice like she was consoling a stranger on a bus. "If you sign it now, we won't pursue the clause that penalizes irresponsible heirs." Irresponsible. Heir. Clause. So many words that meant only one thing. They assumed I was broke, and they wanted every cent locked away from me before I could touch it. Brooke, of course, couldn't resist twisting the knife. Honestly, LYSS, you should be grateful. You're terrible with money. You blew $20 million in what, one weekend? The lie they believed, the lie Simon told me to tell. It had worked. But then came the viral moment, the humiliation that burned through me like a brand. Brooke lifted her phone and recorded me as she said loudly, "Look at her, the millionaire who lost it all. Dad, send it to the family group." Everyone laughed. Everyone except me, because behind them, the door clicked open, and Simon walked in. The laughter died instantly when Simon stepped into the living room, crisp suit, leather briefcase, expression carved from stone. My father stiffened. My mother froze mid-smile. Brooke lowered her phone, suddenly unsure. Simon spoke calmly, almost politely. "Good morning. I see you've already started without me." My mother's voice trembled. Why are you here?" He set his briefcase on the table. "Because Alyssa didn't lose $20 million. She followed my legal instruction to reveal the truth about this family's intentions." Silence. Thick. Tangible. My father's jaw twitched. Truth about what? Simon slid a folder across the table. Much thicker than the envelope they gave me. Inside were bank transfers, emails, notarized letters, all with their signatures. "Alyssa," Simon said, "your parents attempted to reroute the family trust into a private account under your sister's name. If you had signed those papers today, everything your grandmother built would have been permanently transferred out of your reach." My mother's face went pale. That's taken out of context." "Oh." Simon tilted his head. "The clause you mentioned? The one penalizing irresponsible heirs? I wrote that clause. And it applies to fraudulent trustees, not beneficiaries." Brooke swallowed hard, color draining from her cheeks. Pain turned to clarity. Clarity turned to resolve. My revenge would not be loud. It would be legal, precise, surgical. Simon looked at me and nodded, my cue to begin. I took a slow breath, the kind that steadies a trembling soul right before the blade drops. My parents watched me like cornered animals, angry, frightened, calculating. They still believed they could talk their way out of this. They couldn't. I set the unsigned envelope on the coffee table. "No," I said softly. "You'll be signing something today." Brooke scoffed. "You can't force us." Simon raised a hand. "Actually, she can." From his briefcase, he pulled out a new set of documents. Clean, crisp, devastating. "Here," he said to my parents, "is the formal resignation of your trustee rights. Effective immediately. Failure to sign will trigger a court audit of every account you've touched in the last 15 years. My father's face twisted. "You wouldn't dare." "Try me," Simon replied, unblinking. I watched them crumble. First anger, then fear, then the realization that they were trapped by their own greed. My mother's hands shook violently as she looked at the paperwork. "Alyssa, please, we were only trying to steal from me?" I cut in quietly. "To humiliate me? To record me breaking?" Brooke pushed forward. "You can't take everything from us." I turned to her slowly. "I'm not taking everything," I said. "Just everything that was never yours." The room fell silent. My parents reached for the pens. And that was when Simon whispered to me, "Alyssa, brace yourself. They're not done fighting." My father slammed the pen down before signing, glaring at me with a rage I hadn't seen since childhood. "You think you're punishing us?" he growled. "You're destroying this family." I didn't flinch. "You destroyed it the moment money mattered more than your daughter." Brooke stepped between us, desperation cracking her voice. "LYSS, please, if Mom and Dad lose control of the trust, I lose my stipend. My condo, my car. I can't afford that." There it was. Truth finally spoken, not love, not loyalty, dependence. Simon crossed his arms. "You all should know, Alyssa is now the sole trustee. Any discretionary payouts will be her decision alone." My family's faces drained simultaneously. It was almost theatrical. My mother grabbed my wrist, tears trembling in her voice. "We raised you. We gave you everything." I gently pulled my arm free. "You gave me life, not love, and definitely not loyalty." My father tried one last tactic, threatening, "If you do this, you'll regret it. Money can't replace family." I met his eyes, steady and unbroken. Neither can betrayal. And then, with hands shaking, defeated and cornered, they signed away their rights. But just when I thought it was over, Simon leaned close and murmured, "Alyssa, there's one last thing you haven't seen yet. Something your grandmother left only for you." The room froze. A final secret waiting to surface. Simon reached into his briefcase one last time and pulled out a small velvet envelope, aged, ivory-colored, sealed with wax. My heartbeat stumbled. "This," he said softly, "was entrusted to me by your grandmother, to be given to you only after your parents revealed their true intentions." My mother lunged forward. "No, she doesn't need to see." I held up a hand, and for the first time in my life, she obeyed. I broke the seal. Inside was a handwritten letter and a single key. My grandmother's looping script felt like a hand on my shoulder. "Alyssa, I always knew your strength would come from surviving what others tried to break in you. Everything I built is yours now, but this key is the real legacy." Under the letter was a second document, property deeds, to a private estate in Vermont, worth more than the trust itself. My grandmother had known. She had seen this betrayal coming years before I ever could. My father's voice cracked. "Mother left that to you?" For the first time, I felt nothing toward them. No anger, no sadness. Just distance. I folded the letter, slipped the key into my pocket, and stood. "This family ended itself," I said quietly. "I'm just walking away from the ruins." As I stepped out of the house, morning sun spilling across the driveway, Simon said, "You didn't lose 20 million, Alyssa. You gained your freedom." I nodded, finally breathing. "And I'm never letting anyone buy my silence again."